So it's over for Cracker Barrel as the restaurant giant actually scrambles to explain why they're making woke changes as they're in panic mode right now after abandoning their disastrous rebrand. You see, customers see the desperate move as nothing more than just another attempt to go ahead and cover up for the failed leadership decisions they've made, and Cracker Barrel's investors are not buying it either. You see, Cracker Barrel actually tried to play both sides and ended up with nobody simply trusting them. Now, customers don't believe their promises at all, and investors just simply don't buy the leadership spin. But when you actually torch your brand this badly, well, walking it back doesn't work. Okay. So, yeah, Cracker Barrel said they'd return to what made the chain popular, but the people who walked away know empty gestures and promises when they see them. Okay. So, it's not about rocking chairs or even cornbread. It's about a company led by people who think their audience is stupid enough to go ahead and forget what just happened. Okay, and also this is mainly about the food now, and the prices. So yeah, Cracker Barrel is still in a lot of trouble. But the truth is that this is about why Cracker Barrel's board signed off on one of the worst corporate pivots in years and why they're deciding to make changes. You see, they poured hundreds into millions into stripping down the Cracker Barrel brand and telling the public that everything that loyal customers love was outdated. Now, the failure wasn't just in execution, it was also in arrogance. Now, the leadership themselves actually believe that they can go ahead and insult their own base, burn cash on a rebrand nobody asked for, and then spin it as, modernization. Instead, the market hammered them, and now they're standing in front of shareholders with just simply nothing to show but embarrassment. Okay. But actually, what's left is just a company with no credibility. You see, Cracker Barrel's leadership told Wall Street that renovations and branding changes would actually drive new growth. You see, the opposite happened, as you all saw. Stockholders are still furious because value was destroyed for nothing. Customers are furious because authenticity as well as good food was thrown away. And the boardroom is simply just scrambling to explain why the chain alienated its core audience in the middle of just a shaky economy. Now, the excuse that it was just a logo no longer works. You see, people know when they're being gaslit. Okay. So Cracker Barrel simply announced that they're putting old artifacts back on the walls as if, that nailing up some rusty farm tools and stuff will erase the insult. Nobody's buying it. You see, long-term customers are seeing the desperation, not sincerity. Investors see wasted capital, and you can't bet over half the company's value on a project, abandon it in panic mode, and expect confidence to go ahead and magically return. Once trust is gone, the chain has nothing left but cheap apologies. Okay, so yeah, the numbers actually prove the damage is real. Cracker Barrel stock is sliding, and the analysts don't see a plan forward. You see, Cracker Barrel actually, the CEO admits they stopped innovations, but hasn't presented a new growth strategy at all. So that means that Cracker Barrel is in limbo, simply hemorrhaging loyalty, losing market value, and stuck without a roadmap. Excuse me. The brand was supposed to be a lifeline, but instead it became just an anchor, just simply dragging them down. But what investor is going to pour money into a chain like Cracker Barrel right now that admits it has no vision? Anybody? Now, the leadership thought that younger customers would go ahead and save them. I mean, that's why they chased a sterile barn chic vibe in the first place. But honestly, the younger crowd and stuff doesn't trust them either. You see, millennials and Gen Z I'm a millennial myself, see about the about face and recognize pure marketing desperation. And Cracker Barrel is simply now stuck between two groups: older customers who feel, betrayed, as well as the younger customers who actually never wanted them to begin with. I mean, honestly, that's not reinvention right there. That's just being stranded with no audience. Now, the bigger problem is the culture part about it. You see, Cracker Barrel had an image built on tradition and familiarity. Now, by trying to run from it, the company sent a clear message. They were embarrassed of their own identity. Okay. And once a business admits that, every apology afterward rings hollow. Now you can repaint walls and swap logos all you want all day, but once you tell customers you don't respect them, they never forget it. You see, that's why the backlash is so permanent right now, okay? And the truth is that Cracker Barrel's executives showed the contempt. You see, they actually assumed that the loyal customers were just simply replaceable. And they assumed that the broader market actually, wanted a plastic, soulless version of what once felt real. Now, instead of just building on strengths and stuff, I mean, they just dismantled them. Now, instead of investing in food quality and service, they blew money on decor and branding consultants. Now, the investors are not stupid at all. They know when leadership is lighting money on fire, okay? And if you think about what this means for the long term, you'll see that this company has no margin to recover if the economy dips further. You see, families are already cutting back on restaurant spending. Now, why in the world would they pick a chain that can't decide what it stands for? Now, the entire point of Cracker Barrel was predictability, where people knew that they what they were going to get. You see, by throwing that away, you see, Cracker Barrel actually undermined the only competitive edge it had left. Okay. So the panic move to restore artifacts is the clearest sign of weakness. Strong companies, on the other hand, don't reverse course overnight. You see, they don't admit without saying it out loud that the whole plan was a disaster. But that's exactly what Cracker Barrel did. You see, the board actually and the CEO tried to rewrite history, pretending that it was all just a misunderstanding. You see, customers actually know better, investors know better. You see, nobody believes a logo change explanation fits when hundreds of millions of dollars vanish. Okay, so yeah, the younger customers, the ones that Cracker Barrel hoped to go ahead and chase, aren't fooled either. Now, they're not rushing to eat, the microwave cornbread in a chain that's actually too embarrassed to be itself. You see, they can get the same bland experience anywhere else. And the people who actually grew up with Cracker Barrel, well, they just simply see betrayal. You see, they also see a chain that spit in their face and only turn around when the numbers collapsed. Okay, so that right there is humiliation instead of loyalty. But the investor class is already comparing Cracker Barrel to Bud Light and even Disney and even Jaguar. Okay, not because the products are the same, but because the arrogance itself is actually identical. You see, big brands keep thinking that they can insult their own audience, pivot to a fantasy market, and simply just walk away richer. But instead, they lose billions and beg for forgiveness. You see, Cracker Barrel just joined that particular club with Jaguar and others. But the difference is beer and movies and cars and global industries. A restaurant chain with a shaky identity doesn't have the same cushion. All right. Now, honestly put, this is why trust is gone. Now, the customers don't forgive, corporate contempt like that. Investors don't forgive reckless waste and stuff. And younger people don't flock to the particular brands that scream insecurity. Now, as you all know, Cracker Barrel wanted to reinvent itself, but all it did was just reveal that the leadership at Cracker Barrel had no respect for anyone, customers, employees, or even shareholders. But when a company shows that level of disregard, the decline becomes cultural, not just financial. All right. Now, honestly, there's also the core problem. Cracker Barrel doesn't know who it is anymore. You see, the leadership is embarrassed of its base, clueless about, what the future holds, and unwilling to admit that authenticity, not stir branding, is the only survival strategy left. Now, they paused the bleeding, but didn't fix the wound. You see, they're still lost, still leaderless, and still bleeding trust every single day. All right. Now, Cracker Barrel could have just simply doubled down on tradition, quality, and loyalty, but instead it chose to burn the brand down in search of a market that never wanted it in the first place. Now they're stuck in limbo, too fake for the old crowd, too desperate for the new one, and too arrogant to admit what they've done wrong. Now, unless they throw out the leadership that's there right now that drove this fiasco, the company isn't just, facing a setback. It's staring at just at a slow collapse. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Be sure to smash the like button, share the video far and wide across social media, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell for future uploads, notifications, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, peace.